500 million Americans die annually from smoking or vaping nicotine, and you, your friends, or even your family members could be part of that statistic, as vaping is such a common thing in today's society. I have never vaped in my life, just because of the many things it does to your health. But I, or probably many of you, still know others that do. I'm gonna try to convince you on why vaping should be banned through my deliberation on what the purpose of vaping is, the effect of it on today's youth, and its negatives on your health. Let's start by taking a look at what the purpose of vaping is. Vaping was initially created as a device to help long-term cigarette smokers quit smoking, as vaping has been proven to be less harmful than traditional smoking. While this is true, the flaw is that most people buy vapes not to quit cigarettes. They buy vapes just to vape, and then they end up being addicted to the vapes instead. So why vape? Most people vape because they need something to relieve their stress. And if you're hanging out with your pals and you say no, then you're just gonna look like a pussy. According to an article titled "What Does Vaping Do to Your Lungs" by hopkinsmedicine.org, they stated that vaping nicotine may feel good by stimulating the production of feel-good chemical in the brain called dopamine, which can create feelings of pleasure and relaxation. And vaping also creates social opportunities to connect with other people. For those of you who don't know what vapes are, and have got this far in the video, then you should take a Turing test, because I think the hamster in your head is taking a break from the wheel. But seriously, if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, every time I say vape, I'm referring to nicotine vapes. So all you Zaza lovers, remember what I legalized for you. If you want me to legalize everything, you know who to vote for. But chances are that if you're watching this video, then you probably aren't even legally allowed to vote yet. But you're old enough to refill your vape carts with Soylent Green. Which brings me into my next topic of the effect of vaping on today's youth. In a press release regarding underage vape use from the CDC newsroom, they stated that about 3.6 million US youth reported current e-cigarette use in 2020. And they also said that every 1 in 5 students vape. So next time you see your friend and he sits at the lunch table smelling like a rainbow, that wasn't supposed to sound homophobic. I'm referring to the smell, you know? Like your homie might pull up on you with like a fruity little stench, and you know, that's not homophobic either. You get what I'm trying to say? But yeah, they do, then they're probably just sucking on their little stick trying to get a buzz, or maybe they're sucking on their homie's stick, and maybe that stick is just getting passed around the boys, and everyone's taking their turns on that stick until their urges get completely fulfilled. Okay, that was a bit graphic, and I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. Now, how the hell are these kids getting their hands on vapes? Well, they found that 74% of teens are just pulling up to smoke shops and getting it from there, because, you know, the smoke shops aren't going to decline their business. There's no grown adults pulling up and buying vapes. That's their whole business. They also found that 20% of teens are just asking somebody older than them to get it for them.
Pretty please, with sugar on top.
And for the remaining 6%, kids are just going on the internet and buying it there and having it delivered to their houses. When I was 13, the only thing I wanted to buy online was a high pixel rank. So not only does the youth of today have easy access to vaping, but they also have easier access to major health risks. Whoa. I'm sure you've heard the thing that younger people don't fully develop their brains until they're 25, which is true, because when you're younger, it's so much easier to develop habits. And by having a bad habit like becoming dependent on a drug at such a young age, you're then more susceptible to go down a bad path in life.
I should have never smoked all that Soylent Green. Now I'm a liberal and I just told the unemployment office that I had 4 interviews today, when in reality I got some Starbucks and I charged my EV.
For the longest time, the gateway drug has been marijuana, but I don't know. I feel like at this point the gateway drug could be a nicotine vape. Now I know in the beginning I said I've never vaped before. I was in the first minute of the video, you know, I had to be family friendly. But the first drug that I've ever tried was my friend's vape. And then I smoked weed like a boss. And God knows what I'm gonna do next. Besides my supporting evidence regarding how easy it is for kids to buy vapes, I feel like most parents aren't taking into consideration that nicotine vapes could be the new gateway drug. But from my personal experience of being in high school during the late 2010s, I feel like it definitely is.
But let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
So now that we know what vaping does to your brain, let's take a look at what it does to your body. Vapes are just like industry plants. They are mass made in a factory and they're spread out to everybody regardless if you like them or not. But the difference is that in every vape device that's manufactured, there's always going to be some random little ingredients that find their way into your delicious Soylent Green. Okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna bring that up anymore. But some of these ingredients are heavy metals, ultrafine particles, and of course the addictive substance nicotine. Now these random ingredients were found in small traces, but even a little bit can cause long-term issues to your well-being. Examples of these heavy metals include arsenic, lead, nickel, and tin. And these metals have led to health issues, and especially lead has led to lead poisoning, which can even kill you. Another health risk that you could be vulnerable to is a disease called popcorn lung, which could damage your lungs' airways and could leave you with numerous health issues. This disease is caused by a chemical called diacetyl. According to an article by the American Lung Association, they stated that diacetyl is a chemical found in buttery flavored foods over a decade ago. Factory workers were sickened by breathing it in, and major popcorn manufacturers removed diacetyl from their products, but people were still being exposed to it through e-cigarette vapor. Now, most flavors of vapes use diacetyl for a unique flavor, and just by inhaling this chemical, that can bring on popcorn lung, which leads to coughing, shortness of breath, and even chest pain. So next time you think of taking a swig of that beautiful Soylent Green, you might want to reconsider. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I did it anyways. Haha, aren't I just the funniest guy ever? Wow, I'm so aware. Now, the last risk that you could take on your health when it comes to vaping would be lung cancer. While there aren't many studies linked to lung cancer and vaping, there's still enough evidence out there that proves that you could get lung cancer from inhalation to harmful metals, ultrafine particles, and nicotine. Now that I have educated you spit-swapping stick suckers on what vaping is and how it was created for long-term smokers to quit, but it spiraled out of control and brought new smokers with it, and the effect that vaping has on today's youth, and the negatives it has on your health, I hope you'll reconsider sucking your homie Soylent Green dry. Thanks for watching.